You are now listening to the Sin and Twin podcast.
Welcome back to the Sin and Twin podcast. It's your girl Sin, and I'm here with my twin.
Yo, it's your boy Harbinar.
And we got our producer, Chaos.
Wait, what's going on?
Prince of
Over.
Chaos. In front of the camera
up,
once
dog?
again. It's the
What
team,
up, though?
folks.
What's up, humans?
All right, so this episode is mainly to recap our year and what a year it has been.
2023.
2023. We did some things.
A lot of
did.
things.
We did some things. So we wanted to recap 2023, reflect back on all past episodes, and kind of talk about favorite moments, things like that. So we ready? We ready?
Yeah.
All
Let's
right.
talk about it.
Let's first of all mention we are here in Studio Whoa,
Whoa.
Studio Whoa.
where all the magic happens. Shout out to Andy and Brandon. Thank you so much for allowing us this space. We love it here, and you're stuck with us forever.
Yeah, this has become home for us.
Yes, absolutely. I walk through these doors and I'm like, ah. Ah. Anyway, you gotta take your shot when you can. Okay, so
Yeah.
let's talk about our past guests. Let's run through our episodes, shall we?
Yeah, let's talk about it. Let's start with 2023. We started the Sin and Twin podcast.
We sure did.
Let's talk about that.
Okay, I got an idea. I called up my guy, and it turned into the best thing I have ever done. Shout out to my kids. I love you guys. But anyway. It's always a
Doppy's coming
struggle
for you for
Yo, dead ass.
Why don't you tell the people just kind of your inspiration behind the podcast and really what made you start the way? And I know you've talked about it on the podcast before,
Yeah.
but also some people, may have not heard that episode that might be hearing this for the first time and are now going to be interested in hearing all the people that we've interviewed over this past year. But yeah, why don't you tell us about really what made you want to start the podcast, what led you here?
Yeah, so I was in a place where I knew I wanted to express myself creatively, and I wasn't sure which avenue I was going. And I was really searching for the answer to that. And then I attended a winter showcase, and that had a bunch of artists such as Jeremy Torres, huge shout out.
Shout out
Jeremy.
JT.
That was great, guys.
Jay Tizzle.
When we're
Jeremy Torres,
Lonzo, our boy Lonzo.
Lonzo, our guy,
shout out Lonzo.
Hard Bernard over here.
Yo.
Prince of Chaos. We had Crowd Kings in the building. DJ Grand Finale. Shout out.
Shout out Graham.
Graham.
Shout out Eddie Scissorhands. We
Yes.
had Elo the Dawn from L Squad
Word.
performed.
Benny.
Yeah.
Our
That
guy
was a
Who
Benny.
we've actually had on our Creative Corner episode. So if you haven't
That's right.
peeped that or listened yet, go peep that. Listen to that.
Definitely. So there were a lot of artists in that showcase. I apologize if we left anybody out. Nothing personal. Jay's rushing me. But I attended that. I attended that showcase, and I stood there watching everybody perform and the camaraderie and the support. And I was just so inspired and really felt like I wanted to create a platform for these people to talk about how they got to where they are, to promote their creativity, promote their projects. I was just, a fire was lit in me. I want a podcast. I want to display all of this, and I want to connect with these people. I'm inspired by them. I want to connect with them. I say this thing that a lot of people may not understand, but I fall in love with everybody I have that kind of interaction with. And it's not in a romantic sense, but it's just to connect with people on that level. It just really does something for me spiritually, emotionally, mentally, all of those things.
And you appreciate their art.
Oh my gosh, do I appreciate their art. Like, I love just sitting there and watching people chase what they love, chase their dreams, find an avenue that helps them get through whatever it is they're getting through. I love to celebrate the lows that people have overcome just as much as I like to celebrate their successes and their wins. So I called up Jay and I said, Jay, here's my idea. This is why I'm thinking this. And in true Jay fashion, he supported the hell out of it. And he said, what can I do to help you out with this? And from there, we knew, like, we got something here, And thank goodness our good old boy, Prince of Chaos, went from producing the first episode so Jay can be interviewed. And we said, hey, we need you forever now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
that's
he
pretty
was
much exactly what happened.
and he did us a huge favor of hopping on board, and we've just become this happy little family in
Yeah.
this studio here,
Hell yeah.
It's
right?
been great.
Well,
Right.
It's been hysterical.
Oh yeah.
Well, I've had some of my hardest laughs in this studio.
It's
for
hard
sure.
being a silent producer in this show
It really is.
because I'm trying so hard not to make any noise whatsoever. I think the holistic episode was the one I was actually like screaming out. No, it was Andy's episode.
Oh man,
Oh,
with the
man,
lightsabers.
I
Andy's
couldn't.
was
Yeah, I
good,
couldn't.
man.
I couldn't hold it in anymore. I was
We're
losing
gonna
it.
we're gonna get to that for sure because we're gonna run down all these episodes and talk about our funny or our favorite moments. So why don't real quick, Jay, what has the podcast done for you in the past year?
The podcast for me, it's shown me that I can do something like this. You know, for me, like Sin was saying, I came into the podcast to be the producer because, you know, I have some knowledge of
A
audio,
lot of knowledge.
of audio. You know, I'm an audio engineer and stuff. So originally I came in to produce the podcast, but, you know, her asking me to come on as a co-host and, you know, of course I support her and, you know, it's something that I thought would be cool anyway. So, you know, what I got out of this was showing me that I could, you know, do something and accomplish this, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And also like have input and, you know, me and Sin and Chaos, we talk so much about, you know, things that we could create or ideas and content. So it's been a lot of fun to not only be a co-host, but, you know, do a lot for the podcast and building something, you know what I mean? Like this has been a really, really great experience, you know, especially to share with you guys, obviously, like I said, you know, this is the Sin and Twin family, but I just feel like it's a huge accomplishment for me to do this podcast.
I love to hear that.
Mhm.
That means a lot because you have so many other things going on,
Mhm.
you know? So
Too many.
Shit.
so it makes me so happy to hear that, like, you know, you're proud of this. Well, I know you're proud of this,
Mhm.
but it makes me happy that this gave you something like that. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
no, and you know, it's really interesting. You know, I'm sure you guys can agree with this, but it's really interesting to meet, you know, these some of our guests. You know, some of our guests are, you know, I've known for a long time, but also having new people come on here that we're meeting and like getting
Yeah.
to know them within 2 to 3 hours is like really amazing because after that, you know, I see so many of our guests online and posting and doing their things, and it's like it's so cool, you know, to know like, oh, you know, this guy went through this to get here.
Yeah.
You know, me and this guy share the same interests, or so
How about you, Chaos?
To be honest, this is more like a kind of like an escape situation for me.
Love that.
Like this is I know when I come here, I'm going to laugh my ass off the entire time. Like that's what I look forward to the most, honestly.
yeah.
And honestly, like all the guests we tend to have on here
Mm-hmm.
have all been interesting or have had like the best energy and just genuine like dope
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
that we've had come through here.
It's true, and I feel like every time we've come into the studio, like we all got our crap going on, and
Mhm.
we've all like, you know, our highs, our lows, but like every single time we walk through the door, like it just goes. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
we put our shit to the side.
yeah,
And we have a really good time. You know,
Yeah.
we laugh a lot, and like I said, it's a family, and it's really nice to bring other people into that and get to know them and support them. And even, you know, even friends of mine, you know, that I've known that I don't get to see a lot, I've learned about
right.
through the episodes. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And really learn about, you know, where they came from and their backstories. So
Yeah,
it's really an amazing thing to have a podcast to communicate with people and have people open up.
yeah,
It's really cool.
It's also
sure.
been like expanding on the community as well too. Like I've seen like people that want to be guests on this show or previous guests on this show, and I see that they're constantly engaging and interacting even after they've done their episode, and they're like heavily invested in like the new guests that we have on, and then
Yep.
absolutely.
apparently, like, sometimes they'll meet up even, like, they'll be like, yo, you were on Sin and Twin also? Oh, dude, let's meet up and talk, da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
So I've come to see that as well, too. Like, it's honestly starting to bring the community of the different people that we bring in to interact with each other.
Yeah, so like even guests that we've had on the podcast, Danny Valentin, the graphic designer, he goes by Different. He has linked up with DJ Grand Finale.
That's
and,
right.
And has helped him with flyers.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
and
And we
those-
love to see it.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. It's like those are two guests that we've had on the podcast that I'm very, very close with, you know, both of these guys. And it's like now they're working together,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Yeah, those
using
connections.
their art.
Those connections. I mean, for me, this podcast, like I've said it before, I'll probably say it a million more times before the end of the year. I found myself in 2023. You know, I was in a place of motherhood and wifehood and working for the man and all that good stuff, and just really frustrated by not having a creative outlet. And in 2023, the things that I've experienced, the rooms that I've gotten to be in, and the people that I've connected with, like this has given me a life that I just a year ago would not have thought that we'd be here at this point.
Yeah,
you know
absolutely.
what I mean? And I genuinely, like I say it to every guest that comes on, I love every single person that has been in this room with us, like on another level. For them to open up to us and share, you know, some of their traumas, some of their wins, you know, all of that stuff, like that's a connection, and that's an access that I'm forever grateful to. And like Jay said, like when we see you win, we're so proud. And even if you haven't been on the podcast, if we've been supporting you, like we are so proud to see your wins. And, you know, we go so hard, you know, to support everyone, and we always will. That's what we're here for. That's what we preach, is support. We should just have it real big on the wall behind us or something. So, thank you to everybody that's been on the podcast. Massive, massive thank you. We love you guys. We're happy to have anybody that's been on back on. We tell you guys that all the time. And if you are interested in coming on to the Sin and Twin podcast, or know someone who would be a good fit, shoot us an email over at sinandtwinpodcast@gmail.com. I'd love to keep up with the DMs. Bear with me, but that might be a better place to let us know, or to reach out to us. And we'd be happy to have you.
Yeah, and to all the people that we're in contact with that we're gonna get on, let's get it on 2024, baby.
It's going to be, we got some good things coming in 2024, but we'll get there. So let's talk about some of our past guests, shall we? Not some of them, all of them. Let's run down the line.
Yeah, let's go.
First ever episode of the Sin and Twin podcast, Hamilton Fish,
Hamilton Payne.
Jay's very own baby.
Yeah, so Hamilton Fish. It's my baby. It's a 3-piece. I guess we're kind of like post-hardcore, alternative rock, pop, punk, something, new metal. I don't know.
They're a little bit of,
They
we do a
dabble.
lot of different shit, but it's my 3-piece rock band, and I sing and play bass. My brother Will plays guitar, and my brother Paul plays drums, and we're actually going to be releasing a new single
yes.
at the end of January. So
Keep an eye out
a
for
lookout for that. But yeah, it was really incredible to start the podcast and have that be the first episode.
Those guys are family. They're family. They have been since we were kids.
Yeah, I grew up
Straight
with
up.
these
So,
guys, so
it
they're
meant
my
a
brothers
lot.
for sure.
Yeah, it
And,
meant a lot to have them on the first episode, and for us to reminisce and just really I think that's why we have such good energy. We started with like such a good group of people
Yep.
who just made us feel comfortable in our new avenue.
Yep. In our new home at Studio Woe.
Yeah, we
Whoa.
talked about how Jay shut down a bar restaurant.
Yeah, playing some metal shit back in the day.
You threw somebody through.
That
a
was
window.
that was a good highlight of the episode. I
That
think we got a
was-
reel. We'll post that again.
It was the best one. So thank you, Jay, for starting off the podcast with your own band, and some of the stories we got to talk about, and just really hop down memory lane. So that was really fun.
Yeah, that was great.
Second episode was Lindsay Knapp of Sweeter Than
Lindsay.
Sweet
Oh.
Cupcakes.
What an
Cupcake
episode.
episode.
So I
yeah.
gotta say, I was thinking about this the other day. I think have mentioned Lindsay in every episode since she was on.
Mhm.
Maybe even the first episode too. Like Lindsay is the most mentioned guest
Yeah.
so far, right?
Yep.
Lindsay owns a cupcake shop in Walden, New York, on Main Street. It's called Sweeter Than Sweet Cupcakes.
Sweeter than sweet. I think you said sweater than sweet. Sweater than sweet.
Anyway, sweet.
Don't clip the shit either.
You know,
I try to keep a
you want me to
serious
keep it
face.
in? I hate you. One thing I can say about Lindsay's episode is that, you know, she opened up to us about her past addiction, which she is very loud and proud about, as she should be, because the things that she's overcome and is now accomplishing is just mind-blowing and completely inspirational.
Yeah, she's very inspirational to a lot of people.
Yeah, absolutely. And she's a big part of the community now in Walden. And she does what she can for other businesses, for events that we hold throughout the town and throughout the community. So she's kind of a big deal. To
Yeah.
us, she's a big deal.
She's a great person, and if you
Yeah.
haven't checked that episode out, I definitely recommend going back and listening to it.
Absolutely.
And you could hear her story about, like you said, you know, going through being an addict and now being a mother and owning her own business.
Yeah, a single mother owning her own business. So she's a boss ass bitch, and I tell her all the time. But it was nice to have you connect with her too about sobriety
Yep.
and about past addictions, and you know, just it was just something that a lot of people resonated with, and you know, there were a lot of people that reached out about that episode saying they couldn't believe, you know, everything that she went through and you know where she's at now. So to say it was inspirational is just an understatement at this point, you know. And we laughed
Absolutely.
really hard, and she's freaking adorable, man. She's
Yeah.
just like on the episode, like I'm so happy to
Was
be
that
here.
the Scoop Bagel episode?
No.
No.
No. Okay.
Third episode was our Meet the Team episode. And that is when I realized I work with serious stoners.
Oh, I thought she was going to say children.
No, I was thinking like children or immature assholes, something like that.
Yo, I literally in my head,
I was
like,
ready for the worst,
children.
and she goes stoners, and I said, "Oh, okay, I'll take that."
Jeff's like, proud. I'm proud.
You know, sometimes we come in here and we'll shoot 2 episodes back to back. And in between that, my guys like to take a little smoke break. And this time you guys took a serious smoke break. And the Meet the Team episode consisted of a lot of like Jay going, which I cut out for the sake of our podcast.
I didn't get any sleep that night. You know?
Yeah, that's what it was.
So we just
I think it was Leave It Behind's fault.
It was Leave It Behind.
But we'll get there.
Yeah,
Oh
we'll get there.
yeah.
It was definitely their fault. We do blame you, but in the best way.
We'll get there.
Yeah.
We'll get there.
So we wanted to give you a Meet the Team episode so that you guys got to know us a little bit. We love highlighting
And that was
everybody.
Chaos's first episode on
Chaos'
Oh, yeah, that was
first
my
time
first
before the
episode, yeah.
camera. So, you know, we love highlighting everybody else, but we do want you guys to get to know us a little bit and, you know who's running this show. So that's what we did on that episode. And we laughed really hard on it, and we also got a little deep on it. And, yeah, it was a good one. After Meet the Team, we released the Danny V graphic designer episode.
Danny B.
Donnie Valentin.
Donnie.
Different.
Different.
Yeah. He hooked us up with our logo, and he's actually been in our lives since we were 15 years old. I loved having him on. I've been supporting Danny for a really long time. I've got a couple tattoos done by Danny, and I think he's incredibly talented. So
Amazing artist.
amazing, man. So, and also a hilarious guy.
Yes, he is very
He
funny.
trolls with some of the best of them, you know?
Oh yeah.
So,
He's got great Instagram stories, too. Snapchat stories.
he's great. And now he's a dad, and it's been so great to, you know, see his progression and also have him support us through ours. So,
Yeah, it's really special that, you know, every episode that we do and everything that we put out there has a logo that, you know, one of our closest friends did.
yeah, and you know I slapped that logo everywhere, and we'll talk more on that later. But it just makes me happy and very, very proud that the logo that I love so much and that means so much to us was done by somebody who's really special to us. So shout
Yeah.
out Danny V.
Shout out Danny. And, you know, anybody who's into graphic design, you know, I definitely recommend you go back and listen to that episode and just kind of hear his natural progression from just, you know, just drawing in a book, you know, to
Right.
where he's at now. Because, you know, I saw him convert to doing it digitally and,
Yeah.
you know, starting his own business. So it was cool.
Yeah, very. So next we have Leave It Behind.
Yo, shout out the boys and
Shout
Leave It
out
Behind.
the boys.
That was a great episode. Also.
So
It
Leave
was.
It Behind is a punk rock group, trio, based out of Highland, New York.
Mm-hmm.
And
They were the only other band we had on besides Hamilton Fish.
Yeah, they were like the second rock band that we had on.
Yeah.
And, you know, shout out to them. They're really hardworking punk band, and they've done so much in the past couple of years since they started. I think around 2020 maybe was. They did a show with Hamilton Fish back, I think around like 2020. I brought them out to Brooklyn and we did a show. It was a really good time. But yeah, those guys are grinding, man. I see them playing all over the place. They're playing Jersey and Philly and traveling now. So that was a really great episode. And like we were talking about before about our Creative Corner episode, you know, we did a lot of smoking with Leave It Behind in between the episodes. So
Yeah.
That's
Hence why
kinda
the
why.
Meet the Team episode was a little bit.
And then we
Yeah.
basically spent the whole episode like this.
Yeah. We had the lights down low and everything. It was something different.
Like,
But-
yeah, we're socks. Yeah.
I gotta say though, Leave It Behind, they just came in here with such great energy and they were so happy to be here and they were the sweetest guys and I didn't know them through a hole in the wall and now I want to follow them through everything they do. So massive shout out to Mike, Chris, and Ralph who were on that episode.
Yep.
Yeah.
Shout out, Leave It Behind.
Yeah.
yeah, shout out, boys.
Shout out.
Go
Fred,
check
my
them
guy, My guy's so
And if you're
high.
and like I'm gonna say about every episode, if you're into punk rock, you gotta listen to these guys' story.
For real. Okay, after Leave It Behind, guys, drum roll, please. Kevin Escobar,
Let's
Big
go,
Kev.
amateur boxer Kevin Escobar.
Kevin Escobar, what an episode!
What
man.
a freaking episode, right?
Yeah, Kevin's really got an amazing story. Another very inspirational episode, you know, for me too.
Yeah,
You know,
I love him.
young Latino came out of Queens, and you know,
A young scrapper.
yeah,
Young scrapper.
you know, he had a tough upbringing, and he's really brought himself to a great place now.
Yeah.
And you know, watching his boxing career has been a lot of fun for me.
Yeah.
Selfishly, because I love boxing and he's my boy. But
He made me want to box after talking.
yeah,
I was like, wait, I can. He was like, oh, I used to be almost 300 pounds or over 300 pounds. And now look at me. And I'm like, damn, I got to start boxing, bro.
yeah, like he's one of the guys that when I'm in the gym working out and I'm like tired, I'm like, nah, man, Kevin already ran 4 miles at 6 in the morning. It's 5:30 p.m. I'm at the gym. Like, I
After
wouldn't wanna
drinking,
be
what is
there.
it? He's always drinking Casamigos or something.
Yeah, Casamigo.
Hell
He's like
yeah.
sweating all the alcohol out, and we're like, damn, we should get out of bed now. Ugh.
But yeah, just you know, because when I met him too, you know, he was a big guy, and you know, he changed his whole life and lost a lot of weight. And like I said, to me too, like, you know, anybody who like steps in the ring to box or steps in the octagon to do like any type of combat sports, like I have a different type of respect for, because
Sure.
it's such a hard sport. Like, go to the gym and hit a heavy bag for 3 minutes, and then go watch what these guys do.
Right.
Because I
It's-
guarantee
yeah.
most people, you won't even make it 2 minutes on the bag before you have to stop.
I won't. I'll say that straight up.
That's what we're doing tomorrow morning.
I have COVID. So it was also, you know, he talked about some really profound things. You know, he talked about everything he overcame growing up, and even opening up about being molested at a young age and what that did for him and what he's trying to do now for the kids in the boxing gym. And just his outlook on all of it too. And we even laughed really hard with Kev too. Like,
Oh, yeah.
you know, we sweat our asses off that episode.
Yeah, we did. I forgot about that.
Poor Kev at one point had like a little drop of sweat coming down. I'm like, oh no, we are not treating our guests
We
right.
were glistening that
Yeah.
episode.
Yeah.
We was sweating.
Shiny.
We was sweating. But we powered through, thanks to Kev. So, and also just a special mention, Kevin's episode is the highest viewed episode that we have on YouTube. A lot of support for the podcast came from people that support him heavily. So we're also super grateful to everyone that found us through Kevin. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for watching. And thank you so much for supporting him, because that means a lot to us too, you know?
And that's what this podcast is all about. It's not about
Absolutely.
us, you know. It's not about like us getting our name out there.
Right.
It's about supporting other people, and like, you know, sharing a platform to like bring them so they can come and speak and tell their story so everybody can hear it, you know? So
Yeah.
like Sin said, you know, thank you to everybody who supports everybody who's been on our podcast and has used our podcast as an avenue to get to them.
Yep. Yep. And Kevin just definitely he definitely just talking about his story just really proved that even in your lowest of lows, you can come out swinging, you can come out bigger, better, and stronger.
Yep.
So huge shout out to you, Kev. We love you. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks, Kev. You the man.
Next is my guy, Javel Lewis.
Javel.
Okay, so
What a great episode.
What a great!
I
It's
wasn't
so
there
funny.
for that one.
Oh
Chaos
no,
wasn't there.
That's
That's
right.
when I was on a business trip.
That's right. Let me fill you in real quick.
All right, yeah. Let's not even
So-
look at chaos for this one.
So I hold
This one we cracked up, man.
Oh, we
this
sure
was this
did.
was definitely got to be like top 3 funniest because
Yeah.
that was one where I mean it was. I don't know if I was roasting Cindy the whole episode.
Definitely-
roasting
definitely.
Sin the whole time.
definitely
But,
roasted me.
oh my
but that's
god!
a common trend.
Like it was
on
one of
this.
those
I'm
episodes
okay.
where I was just like crying the whole time laughing.
I gotta say, I mean, there's something about Javel, man. Like I want to see him go all the way up, and I feel that way about all of our guests. Don't get me wrong, but you know, Javel came in here. I didn't know Javel like from a hole in the wall, right? Which are some of my favorite guests. Where
Yeah.
I don't have any
Yeah,
like
we had never met Javel before.
not at all. My boy John, huge shout out John. I love you dearly.
Yeah, shout out John.
John Mendez. He is co-managing Javel, and he mentioned having him on, so we did. And within seconds, we were like, "Yo, Javel, we like we're in the same level, we're in the same page." Like we realized we had so many connections to him.
Yeah, inspiration. You know, that was one thing with Javel. I mean, I think we were like 20 minutes into the episode, and I was like, "Yo, man, we need to work on some music together because so much of our inspiration was, you know, came from the same people.
Yeah.
You know, and a lot of our influence was the same music, and we grew up on the same music, and we're both people who do hip hop and rock. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that was definitely, you know, it was special to share that.
Yeah.
And I'm actually, you know, I don't know if I can say this, but I'm actually working on some music with Javel now. So. Doing some co-production.
It's
with
going to
him,
be a
so
collaboration
me and-
for
There you
me-
go.
You will
like,
be hearing,
books, bro.
you know, music with me and Javel from here on out. So.
Yeah. And I
Damn.
I tell Javel all the time, man, like don't forget me when you hit the top, bro, because that guy is going nowhere else but the top. He's so incredibly talented
And a great guy.
and just so
Very humble,
humble, so great. His energy, I was just like, can I just keep you around like all the time, you know? And I wasn't really surprised because John brings the same thing to my life, you know? John and I are super, super close, and his energy, I eat it up like a bowl of cereal. You know what I mean? I love it. So I'm really happy that Javel was on. I'm really happy that we made that connection, and you know that he's part of the family now. You know, so massive shout out to Javel. Javel got us on Fuse.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Let's talk
Javel
about
got
that.
us-
That was
yeah.
cool. That was special.
Yeah, we
Let's
had
talk
a
about that.
conversation about how Fuse was such a inspiration to us when we were kids, and it was such a part of our lives when we were growing up. And lo and behold, his too. So we had a whole conversation about it. I made a reel out of it, and Javel basically told the Javelians. Is that what we're calling your fans? No. Just let me know what you think. Just let me know what you think. So he basically
Javelians. Yeah.
that Javelians. I don't know. Anyway,
Javelians? Oh my
we'll work
God.
on it. We'll workshop it.
Javonians?
Javonian. I don't know. We'll figure it out. The Javas.
Oh my.
The Jawas?
We gonna come up with this. But he basically let him know. He was like, "Yo, tag Fuse on this post. Let's get this going." And sure enough, Fuse shared our reel. They put it on their page. They asked for permission first, tagged us, gave us all the credits, and then I shot my shot with Fuse. And we gonna see if anything ever comes out of that. But you miss every shot you don't take. You know what I'm saying?
Once again,
Yeah.
the people did that.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was-
Javel's people
Yeah.
who
Yep.
follow him and support him did that.
That's right.
You
That's
know?
right.
And I just want to keep saying, like I said, it's not about us, but about
Sorry.
everybody, you know, and people supporting other people. That's what happens. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So
And I think the that clip, the Fuse clip, is actually our highest viewed reel on
A YouTube
reel or
short.
YouTube short.
It's our
There you
highest
go.
viewed YouTube short. That's
Yeah.
right. And Jay's over here like, Sin, shut up about you shooting your shot, man. The people. We're talking about the people.
no, I wasn't saying
No,
that.
I know. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, he was.
But Javel, we love
Usually
you.
I shit on her, but you know, I'm having a good time today.
He's being
It's
nice.
the holiday spirit.
The medicine has kicked in.
Let me smoke this weed on camera.
So Javel, we love you dearly. John, we love you dearly.
Yeah,
And
shout out to you guys.
massive shout out to everybody that found the podcast through Javel and supported him, supports us. We just love you guys. I'm filled with so much love today. Episode after that, Creative Corner. So
Oh yeah.
Creative Corner is going to be a continuous segment on this podcast. And we had the one and only Elo the Don.
Hello, the dawn.
El Squad.
And it was just so great, man. Like, talk about a group. It was the three of us plus Elo. And
Yep.
talk about just a great group of people, a great group of minds to put together and talk about what it is to have creative outlets, what it is to chase your dreams and keep going despite all of the naysayers and haters and all of that good stuff. So, and also I learned something. I did not know that they scoop the bread out of the bagels. I just didn't know. I didn't know it was a thing.
Disgraceful.
And, you know, thanks to that episode, I have a friend who refuses to eat the scooped out bagels.
Yo, I was just about to say,
Shout
let's
out
talk
Rocky.
about that. Shout out to
That's
Rocky.
heathenist behavior. I'm
Shout out to
sorry.
Rocky because she says when she hangs out with the Sin and Twin family, she feels like she can't scoop bagels. And as much as I want to like tell Rocky, like, it's okay, Rocky, go get your bagel scoop, I refuse.
Jay's like, you're
I
damn
pref-
right you can't do that in front of me.
Exactly.
You
exactly.
dare scoop a
It's like,
bagel.
yo, if you're hanging out with the Sin and Twin family, either get a bagel or get a flatbread or a wrap or whatever you want.
Right,
You
right,
know what
right.
I'm saying?
Jay takes bagels very seriously, and that we learned.
I'm a
on
We're
that
New
episode.
Yorkers. What do you
I'm a
mean?
snob.
He is a
If you don't
snob.
like me for it, it is what it is.
Don't scoop your damn bagels.
No, it was
Simple.
You don't get
great.
this figure eating scoop bagels. Let me tell you something.
That's inspirational. Oh my god, I'm out
It's
of
the
breath.
poppy seeds.
Oh my god. So anyway, the
That's why I
creative-
failed the drug test.
Yeah,
it
yeah,
wasn't
that's-
drugs.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's what it was.
It wasn't drugs.
You're right. You're right.
No, let's get on with it.
So the Creative Corner episode was just incredible. We were so happy to have Elo in the studio with us, you know, just bringing the two worlds together. And he was one of the people that inspired the podcast as well.
Mm-hmm.
So to sit down and talk about all of the things that we're doing and all of our struggles, our lows, our highs, and all of that good stuff, it was definitely great. So keep an eye out for everything that Elo the Don is going to be doing. We'll talk about it. And then
Yeah, 2024 is going to be crazy. Yeah, no, in 2024, there's a lot of great things coming out with Elo to Dawn
hell yeah.
and
Hell
L
yeah.
Squad. And I'm not going to say the name yet, but there's a collaborative project coming.
Oh, there's a collaborative project coming. All right,
Ooh.
100%.
And we'll talk about that later. but
Breaking news.
Elo to Dawn's definitely part of it. And so am I. So
Oof. Well, that's a mixture that I'm here for always
Yeah.
and forever.
Yeah.
So keep an eye out for more Creative Corner segments. We're gonna have some pretty awesome and creative people coming on so that we could talk about putting our minds together and just talking about, you know, what we're doing out here. So stay tuned on that. And then the next,
hell yeah, brother.
shout
Hell
out
yeah.
Ella the Don. We
Yeah.
love you so much. We
I
can't
love
say
Straight
it
up.
enough. We can't say it enough. So the next episode was my baby girl, my daughter Tatiana.
Oh, Tati.
I did a mini-sode with my oldest child, Tatiana, and to my surprise, so it was just me and her. Neither one of you got to be there for it.
It's for the kids.
I went in there thinking it was going to be one thing, and then we just sat down and we just got real and had some serious mother-daughter conversations, and I did not really cut anything out of that episode. I wanted it to be very authentic and real, and we don't fake it for anybody. So we just talked about what it's like for her to be a teenager in today's world and what it's like for me to parent a teenager in today's world. And to my surprise, that episode got so much positive feedback. I thought it was going to be one that, you know, would cater more to the younger crowd, but I had a lot of parents reach out to me and talk about what a difference it made for them as far as the perspectives and how they parent their kids and how they maybe navigate some of those conversations with them.
That's awesome.
It was, I'm telling you, Jay, I was shocked.
Mm-hmm.
I was shocked. I didn't think that there was going to be a huge, not that nobody cares, but I didn't think it was going to be a huge interest in it.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just like, it just fills me with so much joy how much people really loved that episode and how much they appreciated the authenticity of it. You
Yeah,
know?
no, I was just about to say shout out to Tatiana for,
My
you know,
baby.
opening up and, you know,
Yeah.
talking about that stuff and, you know.
Yeah, she did good. She did good. You know, she was a little nervous, of course. It was her first time doing something like this. But she navigated those conversations so beautifully, and she was so mature about how, you know, she answered some of the things that we talked about, and she just
Very honest.
very honest, very, very honest. But, you know, it just made me really, really proud, like as a mom, you know, for that to have gone the way that it did, and then for the feedback to come in the way that it did. And even some of our family who don't, you know, they know her, but they've never gotten to like connect with her on that level. You know, they all watched the episode and listened to it and really told me. And then not for nothing, my biggest insecurity as a person is my parenting. Like I had her when I was 18 years old. I live with this complex that you know, like people used to tell me all the time, like kids having kids, you know, like I developed a serious complex about, you know, how I am as a mother. So one of the things I get the most defensive about is my parenting because I'm so insecure about it. So for so many people to reach out to me and tell me how proud they are of me about how I'm parenting my daughter and how I communicate with her, and just to get such positive feedback about something I'm so sensitive about was massive for me. It was a big deal.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, shout out to both of you guys.
Thank you. Love you, Tati.
Love
Okay.
you, Tati.
So then we did the Sin and Jay Q&A.
Oh, crap.
Crap.
Yeah, we did a lot of episodes this year.
Mm-hmm.
We have done 13 episodes
Wow.
this year. 13 episodes.
And when do we start? In April?
Our first episode was dropped in April.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think we did a hell of a job. So the Q&A
Maybe
episode,
we'll get 24 episodes on this year.
that's a great goal to set. I'm here for it.
Yeah.
All right, let's not get ahead
Definitely.
of ourselves.
Jay's
not the
gonna
one
announce his
editing it.
retirement at the end of this
I'm
episode.
retiring from everything.
So the Q&A episode, again, just another opportunity for, now that you guys have watched us for a little bit, for you guys to then, you know, ask any questions that you may have had for us and for us to, you know, open up to you. So the Q&A episode, it was a quick episode, just answering some questions and then also getting into funny stories about our past. But y'all didn't care about that much, so we'll move on.
The people have spoke.
They're not here to hear about us, I'm going to be honest. DJ Grand Finale.
Oh. Oof,
It
legend.
just, one episode was just
Fucking
not enough.
legend.
No, we definitely need to get him back on here for another
And we will.
episode,
He's definitely coming
100%.
back on. But it
Yeah,
was
no,
just,
Grant called me like, oh, maybe 3 days after we recorded and was like, yo, man, I got to get back in there.
Yeah.
Let me back in there. I'm like, I got you,
There's
champion.
time constraints, and then, you know, sometimes we get lost in it. You know what I mean? So it was such a great episode. I mean, Grand is just, talk about energy. That man is just,
Yeah, listen, man, he's one of the greatest DJs ever just because, you know, besides the fact of him just being a great DJ, I mean, you know, so many people I know have ended up hiring him.
yeah.
You know, because they've came to me and been like, hey, you know, and I'm looking for a DJ for a party. And, you know, my family's hired him a bunch of times. And it's like he literally ruins people because he's so
he
great.
sets the bar so high.
Yeah.
Oh,
He
you
sets
have
the
no
bar.
idea.
Yeah, he sets the bar so high. And it's like, you know, now it's like when I go out, my girl, these DJs suck. And I'm like, yo,
Yep.
babe, you're used to, you know, grand finale. Like,
yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
you're used to the Crowd Kings. Like,
Mm-hmm.
His
You know?
fiance is the same way now. So like, I'll be chilling at the bar talking, and like we'll be having a drink or something, and his fiance be like, "Ew, what kind of mix was that?" And I'm like, "Chill." And she's like, "Nah, like go tell that DJ he needs to mix better." Like, and I'm like,
Yeah.
"Yo, you need to simmer down." But like, Grant, that's a product of Grant, you know.
yeah, he just showed me a video last week in Arabella scratching.
No.
Shout out Arabella.
Oh my
Yeah.
God. His little work of
I
art.
got to go see them this weekend. I got to pop in over there. So.
Saw the other
Thanks for
day. She's so
reminding me.
adorable.
Grand, we just love you. There's no
Straight up
words,
legend. Listen, if
honestly.
you don't know this guy, or you've never seen this guy perform, like go see him perform and go meet him, because he is one of literally the best people I've ever met.
Yeah.
Straight up, like one of my best friends,
So supportive.
and just probably one of the realest people I know. Like he will literally do anything for the people he loves.
Yeah. And he proves it every single day. So it's not even just about how great he is at what he does, which he's incredible, but he's also just a great, great human.
So many of my closest friends I met through Grant,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. And massive shout out to his parents too. We learned in that episode that he is as amazing as he is thanks to how they raised him.
Absolutely.
So that can't go unnoticed whatsoever.
Shout out Jordan Gilly.
Yeah, shout out.
Shout
Jordan
out, shout out,
Gilly.
shout out.
Gilly,
So
Gilly.
I could go on for days about Grand. Just know we mean it. I know it sounds like we're saying this about everybody, but we mean it.
Yo,
Check
go
him out.
follow that man.
Follow him. Go
At DJ Grand Finale.
hmm
Everywhere.
And check him out. Watch him do his thing. I mean, if you're in this area, you've probably seen it more than once. But
Yeah, he's everywhere, man.
yeah.
Billy Joe's.
He's in Poughkeepsie,
Everywhere
else.
Middletown,
yeah.
Puerto Rico,
AC, Florida,
Florida,
North
Jinx.
Carolina, Vegas.
Yeah.
Go see that man. I'm telling you, he
Cali.
is the coolest person. And if you go introduce yourself to him and just say that you're a fan, he will definitely talk to you and have a great conversation with you.
Yeah. Okay, this next episode, let me just tell you guys, man. Andy Bivians,
Andy.
pro wrestler, and also the Andy we're always talking about in regards to Studio Wall.
Yeah.
Funny story about Andy's episode. We had actually had him on and recorded an episode. 20 minutes into that, I realized I wasn't recording audio. I forgot to hit the button.
Oh, that, and I forgot we did 2 episodes.
Yeah. And then something happened with the video that when I went to edit it, it just cut. So it just,
So what she's saying is he's the real champ because we made him come here twice to do the podcast, but you only heard the second episode.
And it proves they
Right.
can't do this podcast without me.
That's a
yeah,
fact.
it's a full fact, bro. Like I should
Like
not
when
be
chaos
here.
isn't here, chaos ensues, and then me and Cindy are like, "It's your fault." No, fuck you.
It's Pate's
It's
fault
your
for not
fault.
being here.
Yeah. Well, you should have told Chaos. I forgot to text him. Why do I got to do everything? I'm like, this is your podcast.
It's always my podcast when something goes wrong.
I'm only here for comedic relief.
I'm the talent, goddammit.
Yo, I swear to God. But I gotta tell you, and it was a really good episode the first time around. But then when we had him in the second time and
Oh, it
Chaos was here,
it was
Oh,
so
it
much
was
fun,
so good.
we had so much fun.
We have
and
an hour of outtakes.
You would think, yeah, seriously.
We literally have 2 episodes worth of content.
We
out of that.
we do. You would think that because Andy had to come in here a second time, that it may not, like his episode may not have had like
We want to hit the same.
as much gumption. Yeah, where it didn't hit the same. No, like he came in here and still like we hit all of the things I wanted to hit, but in a different way. And it was so great. It was so authentic. And Andy's just such a trooper, man, that he puts up with us on another level, bro. Like for
Absolutely.
real. Not even just with like how the episodes went, but also like, he runs this studio and
We're always calling him. We're like, Andy, where's the lights?
Can't find the
Andy,
cameras
I
that are
can't
right in
get
front of me.
Yeah. We can't find the cameras. She's like, yeah, it's in the same box that they're always in. And we're like, oh, thanks, man.
and we're like, everything looks different. He's like, we cleaned up. Relax, guys. This is what's supposed to happen, And as we've already established on this episode, we don't communicate well. So
Nah.
No, we
I'll
don't.
hit him up and I'll be like, hey, I communicated with 6 different people to be in the studio and record.
Except you.
And forgot to ask you if it was clear that day. You know what I mean? But he accommodates us so much. He
You know what
always,
we might have to do 2024, get a Sin and Twin manager.
Yeah. There's too many people with ADHD
Oh, you know
on
what?
this
Call
team.
mom. Call mom.
Mom, we need you.
That's
no,
all I need, mom, to be like, what time are you getting up here for the podcast on Saturday? I'm like, fuck.
It's just what we need, dude.
Sin squared.
She's gonna be like, you get 15 minutes to smoke. Any more than that, you're gonna look like an idiot.
That's got to be an honorable mention to his mom, because I think she comes up in every episode.
Oh man, I know. And
We'll have to get her on in 2024.
2024
gonna be-
will have a Mama Bernard episode for
Yeah, you
sure.
can meet the person who produced the twins.
Yeah. So for Andy's episode, we laughed so much on that episode. You know, he thinks of us too anytime an event is going on. He reaches out to us like first if we're interested to be a part of it, and you know, he promotes us so much. So it was not only great to have him on our podcast, but to promote what he has going on. You know what I mean? And he's a wrestler. This dude's badass, but the nicest guy on
Yeah.
the planet, dude.
Yeah, awesome guy, man.
And the shoes.
Yeah, shoe game is crazy.
Yeah, his
I
shoe
walk
game is
past-
crazy.
I walked past like what's that store, the men's suit store in the mall, and they had glittery shoes in the window, and I was like, "Oh, Andy, I miss you, bud."
He was rocking those shoes. Me, Gran, and Eddie were DJing at Academy, and we literally saw him walk in from the other side of the room because the light just sparkled like some Michael Jackson shit.
I think we laughed. Oh my god, we laughed so hard. And if you guys have seen the reel about lightsaber versus swords and Jar Jar Binks, and me clearly never having seen Star Wars, that was all from the Andy episode. So he also talks about everything he had to do to become a pro wrestler and everything he put his body through, the mental battles that came with that as well. And it's just big ups to him. And he's wrestling like all the time.
All the time. Yo, if you love wrestling, you need to listen to that episode. I promise you'll enjoy it.
100%. 100%. So shout out to Andy. Thank you so much for coming
Shout
on.
out Andy.
We love you dearly.
Yeah.
And then our last episode, at the time that we're recording this, it was Anthony from Floyd Patterson
Yeah.
Boxing Club.
Shout out Anthony Bongiorni from the Floyd Patterson Boxing Club.
Yep. And he
Also
was
incredible episode.
oh man, dude. Like I often leave here with chills after these episodes, and Anthony was no different. So first I'd like to mention the number 13 is my number. It means a lot to me. And it's yours as well, correct?
It's also mine too.
Really?
I swear to God.
See?
Yeah, our
Connections.
birthday's on the 13th. So.
I'm
October
Chaos
13th.
13.
Yeah. October 13th for us, for our birthday. And Anthony was episode number 13. So it was really, really, really special, you know.
And
like-
it's funny too because we had to reschedule a couple of times. I know
Mm-hmm.
Anthony brought that up and he felt bad, and you know he should not feel bad at all because
it happened
this
when
is
it was
showbiz.
supposed to.
And yeah, and that's the thing is, you know, if you ever want to get on this podcast and you know it doesn't work out or whatever the first time, don't worry, we're very easy to work with and reschedule. But
Right.
it's kind of like you said, that's kind of special that he ended up being 13, and it's an episode that we wanted to do since we started the podcast.
Yes. He was
Um,
one of the first people that we thought of that we would want to have on for sure.
Yeah, and just to highlight, you know, his story, hear his story, and you know, another inspirational story for him opening up a gym and taking on fighters. He's a manager, promoter, trainer, but to know that his focus now is on the kids is so cool, and I think just very
Yeah.
important, you know, for the community. And you don't see a lot of gyms like that doing that.
You don't
know,
see a lot
so-
of places like that, period.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You know,
for
they're
sure.
few and far between.
And it's a family run business, you know, and then their staff has become family. Like it's just it's so special. Everything that they're doing for the kids. I mean, it's just they need to be supported. They need to be shown that they're appreciated because they really are, you know. So Floyd Patterson Boxing Club on Instagram and on Facebook. Shoot them a message. They do take donations. They are a nonprofit organization, so donations definitely help. Anthony is just doing incredible things, and they deserve all the support in the world. So huge shout out to Anthony. Huge shout out to his family, you know, for everything that they contribute to the gym as well. And then
And get your kids in the youth program there.
yeah, the youth program. Women, they
Have
got
them-
Zumba.
Have them learn how to defend themselves, but also boxing is all about discipline, you know, and applying that to real life situations.
Right. And they give the kids opportunities to just sit down without any physical activity and talk about what's going on in their lives. It's a safe space. It's a safe space for kids in a world where they need safe spaces. So listen to Anthony's episode, please. He will tell you in the episode all the ways that you could support them. But just know that you can reach out to us or you can reach out to them to find out more details about that. And 2024 is probably gonna have a lot of Sin and Twin Floyd Patterson Boxing Club collaborations,
Absolutely.
which we're really excited about. So stay tuned on that. And thank you so much, Anthony, for coming on to the podcast and being so real with us. We just appreciate you so much. So real quick, we just wanted to do some honorable mentions with the past episodes. And that being said, I would say honorable mentions for funniest episodes. I mean, we can't pick a funniest single episode, but I gotta say that the laughing that occurred on Andy Vivian's episode, the pro wrestler.
Oh yeah, there was a lot of laughs.
A lot of I had tears streaming during that episode, often. I used half a box of tissues. Sorry, Andy, but it was your fault. Wiping my tears. Creative Corner with Chaos and
Hello to Dawn.
Hello the Don.
Yeah, that was hysterical.
Oh my God, man. And it's no surprise that we were laughing our asses off the whole time, scooping bagels and kicking a cup and all that good stuff.
Even Javel.
So that's what I was gonna say next. Javel's episode, we were laughing our asses off during that episode, man.
Yeah, that was great.
Just a bunch of goofballs during that one. So definitely, that would be our top 3 funniest in our opinion, you know. And then for most inspirational episode, we gotta mention, of course, Lindsay Knapp with Sweeter Than Sweet Cupcakes.
Yeah,
And
definitely Lindsay.
yeah,
Super inspirational.
yeah, ridiculous. You know, I'll always shoot it. Nope. I'll always shout it from the rooftops. And then also Kevin Escobar, amateur boxer.
Kevin Escobar. Definitely, absolutely inspirational episode. It
For
was,
sure.
It was great.
I mean, I think that Kevin and Lindsay both opened up about past traumas that, a lot of people don't open up about. And I hope that it inspires people to open up about their past traumas and maybe, find a safe space to do so. I think it's important that we don't bury those things. And, just when you feel comfortable, just find somebody to talk to, man. It's so important. And they've both worked through all of that. And look at what they're accomplishing now. So,
Yeah, it's amazing.
big deal. And then most outtakes.
Oof.
That has to be the Andy episode.
Yeah, we're going back to Andy again.
I think Andy's 2 for 2 on that one.
I mean, I do. Let me just mention this really quick. I edit these episodes myself, and that's another thing I got out of doing this podcast. Before we started this podcast, I did not know how to do that, and I forced myself to learn so that I could do it for this, and now I'm just a champ at it. You know what I mean? And Andy's episode required so much editing, just so you guys don't hear us wheezing into the mics the entire time. You know what I mean? So I would say definitely most outtakes on that one. And then the most surprising episodes for us. And when I say surprising, just, we generally have an idea of who's coming and what we're talking about. And then sometimes they come in and we get on a flow of something completely different. And it's a beautiful thing. And I personally love when that happens. I love being surprised and I love getting taken on a journey that I wasn't expecting. I would have to say for most surprising, I mean,
It's got to be Javel, no?
Javel, man.
Yeah, he came in. We hadn't met him, and we listened to his music, which was like a mix of hip hop, R&B, and some EDM in there.
Yep.
And turned out we had so much in common,
Right. And
which have nothing to do with necessarily those genres, you know what I mean? But obviously, we spoke on his episode about the skits in his record,
yes.
which are very old school hip hop based, which drew me into his music very quickly.
Right.
But knowing that, we grew up listening to the same stuff like nu metal, Linkin Park and stuff, and a lot of the emo and pop punk bands was cool.
Yeah.
That was surprising.
It was just again, I didn't have any crazy expectations coming in. I never really do, even when I know the person. But he just blew my mind and exceeded anything I would have expected for that episode, especially because I didn't know him. So then he came in and, I mean, come on, what's the magic word on the podcast? Linkin Park.
Yeah, facts.
It's a code word.
That's the password to get in.
Dude literally said Linkin Park, and I almost fell out of my chair with excitement. You know what I mean? And the way we connected with them, and then, again, for Jay to just 20 minutes in be like, yo, we need to work together. That's a big deal.
Yeah, that was cool.
Anybody want to cover any of their favorite moments real quick before we wrap this up?
The Star Wars moment,
Oh man,
hands down. It was
Wow.
the Star Wars. Wow.
Jar Jar Binks.
Yabba dabba
Yabba
doo.
dabba do. Yep.
Yabba dabba do. Yeah, a lot of funny moments.
Yeah.
We laughed with everyone. You know,
Everyone.
that's probably my favorite, is just laughing and cracking jokes. That's why I'm here. Creative Corner was one of my favorites, just to
Yeah.
kind of like come in and not just like necessarily focus on one thing, and just kind of go in and talk about, you know, the creative things we do and our process. And that was one of my favorite episodes, just because, like I said, you know, it's a different one than
Yeah.
all the others.
Yeah, I mean, and it's hard to pick out any like favorite moments of the episode. I mean, I think we've gotten to places of serious depth with people that have come in here, and then we've just like been complete idiots at other times, like complete idiots.
Speak for yourself.
So that's it. So we're so grateful to everybody who's watched and listened. Jay, to be able to spend this time with you and do this, you know, thing with you, and for it to become what it has become, I'm so grateful. Chaos, I love you so much, and I'm so grateful for everything you do for this podcast. I could say it till I'm blue in the face. You're incredible, and thank you. What's to come for 2024? So in 2024, we're going to be introducing probably a few new segments, but one for sure that I'd love to let you guys know about is we're introducing Outside the 845. So we are going to start having some episodes with people that don't live in the Hudson Valley, or maybe don't do their craft in the Hudson Valley. But the purpose of that is to bring multiple worlds together. You know, we want to put the Hudson Valley on, but we also want to put the Hudson Valley on to outside the Hudson Valley. So that being said, again, if you're interested in being on the podcast, don't feel like you have to be here in the Hudson Valley to be on. We want to support everybody, and that means a lot to us. So reach out to us at sinandtwinpodcast@gmail.com, and stay tuned because we have a couple of really, really awesome people already lined up to be on the podcast for 2024. I'm running out of breath. So stay tuned for that. It's going to be pretty incredible, and I'm really excited. And also merch. We're going to start really slapping that logo that Danny V did for us on all kinds of things. So stay tuned for that. I'll definitely be posting more about that to let you guys know details. We just want to be everywhere, and we want you guys to be everywhere. So, you know, maybe
Buy
if
our
you're,
shit.
yeah, maybe if you're on the podcast, you might get a little treat, a little something, you know?
Maybe.
So, what else, Jay, for 2024, you think?
It's more episodes, more people, more guests, and you know, we're going to continue to grow. Like Sin said, you know, we're going to be expanding a little bit and interviewing different people from all over the world. So
That's right. So we're very excited, and thank you for sticking with us. And thanks for listening, watching, supporting, sharing, liking, commenting, and all of that good stuff.
yeah,
And
and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
subscribe.
And yeah, sick.
Jay's high is running out, so we got to get out of here. He's crashing. That
Time for a cig.
So thank you so much, everybody, for listening and watching. I hope you all have great, happy holidays. Be safe. Thank you for the support. 2024 is going to be dope. 2023 was incredible.
Yeah,
So-
thanks for taking the ride with us, guys, and whoever's listening or subscribe. Thank you so much, because without you guys, there is no Sin and Twin podcast.
Facts. Full facts.
Peace
All right,
on three.
guys. So Jay's going to take us out like always.
Y'all ready? Yeah.
Ready.
1, 2, 3.
Peace.
I'm like, how
I
long
was
are
like,
we
I'm
gonna
not
do
going
this
to
for?
break.